Things started taking on a new shape. Caroline gradually ignored the social barrier between us. She frequently visited my room and more often than usual made her demands. Her mother caught us chatting a couple of times, but like her husband, she couldn't believe that I posed any danger to her daughter. My inferior standing and the social incongruity between her and me eliminated any suspicion. But Caroline overdid it. I caught her several times staring at me when her parents were around. One evening I saw Kahuthu and his wife exchange glances when Caroline rushed to help me arrange dishes on the table. Kahuthu definitely put on his glasses, a thing he always did when puzzled. But Caroline was craftier than her parents thought. She suddenly realized her mistake and corrected it before her parents could give the observation further consideration. "You fool!" she raved at me. "This is not the way to arrange dishes." Her back was turned to her parents so that they couldn't see the expression on her face. She was smiling at me and at the same time calling me a fool. I was amused and nearly laughed. Her quick action saved us from suspicion. Kahuthu removed his glasses, satisfied that there was nothing fishy going on between his daughter and me. When Caroline made her usual visit to my room that night, she apologized. "You didn't take me seriously, did you?" she said. "You know I didn't mean to call you a fool. I wanted to fool my parents." "You shouldn't have come to help me with the dishes," I said. "The way you did it, they nearly caught us." "I was seized by a strange emotion," she said. "I really don't know why I did it. But then I corrected the mistake in time." "We'll have to be careful," I said. "Maybe they won't be fooled next time." "I'll take care," she said. Then she bit my finger. As the weeks drifted by, our relationship solidified to a point of no return. We became inseparable and sometimes careless. Caroline always had a reason for being near me. When I was weeding the flower garden, she would tell her parents she wanted to collect some flowers for the vase. She would join me in the garden and pretend to be busy picking flowers while she talked to me. When I was busy in the kitchen, she would suggest to her parents that she do some practice lessons in domestic science. That excuse would give her a ticket to the kitchen where she would join me and help me wash the dishes. Meanwhile, we would chat under the cover of clinking utensils. One day when Caroline was helping me wash the dishes, she asked, "Chuma, how did you do in school?" I admitted that I had done poorly and that I wasn't the intelligent type. For instance, my English was a direct translation of my mother tongue. Instead of saying, "I failed in my exams," I invariably said, "I fell down." Instead of saying, "Employ me," I said, "Write me work." Instead of saying, "I feel pain," I said, "I hear pain." "Have you given up ever furthering your studies?" she asked with concern. "It is too late now. I can't go back to school." "But you can study at home privately," she suggested. "There are correspondence schools and they are cheap and efficient." "I don't think I can make it," I said hopelessly. "I am not the type that can study on my own. Even with a teacher, I failed." She gave me an encouraging smile. "Everything is possible if there is devotion and stamina. You can make it if you want to." "Chuma," she said seriously, "take a correspondence course for the sake of your future. Without good education, the prospects for your future are dismal. Surely you don't wish to be a houseboy for the rest of your life." I felt ashamed. For the first time, I wondered why I hadn't thought about the betterment of my future before. Was I going to remain a houseboy for the rest of my life? "I could help you," she said. "I can always avail myself to you in case of difficulties. I have a lot of books which you can use." "Thank you so much," I said abruptly. "I'll enroll with a correspondence school as soon as possible." And I meant it. Women can make men do wonders, especially if the man is in pursuit of a woman far above his social class. Following Caroline's wise advice, I became a student-cum houseboy. I studied all sorts of subjects: geography, how cold it is in Greenland, why the earth is round and not flat like a tray, why the sun looks like a small lump of ugali, yet it is bigger than our earth, gravity, how this powerful force tends to pull everything towards itself. Is it greed or gluttony? History, Christopher Columbus. A man who could live in the ocean like a fish, but who couldn't tell the difference between India and America. Patels and Apaches were the same thing to him. I was amused by science. This was a subject I couldn't handle without Caroline's aid. She explained how atoms mate with other atoms to make molecules, how later those molecules make love to other molecules to make compounds, how those compounds could be dangerous if not well treated. Geometry, the lousy theorems and the perpendiculars. Those vertical erections which bisect horizontal crazes. I studied until my mind chirped with lessons. I knew, but I didn't admit to Caroline that I was fighting the formidable, just messing with time. I wasn't the type to succeed through forced lessons. Although the tutor encouraged me with fake correct marks, I rarely got the minimum pass marks. After 4 months of day and night studies, I gave up, but kept on fooling Caroline that I was still pushing on. Then, the worst happened. Caroline was pregnant. She disclosed the news to me during one of our night meetings. I wasn't surprised, but I cared. "How old is it?" I asked in a startled note. 3 months, she said. "I could have told you before, but I was scared and I wasn't sure." Silence befell us. Was I worried? "What do we do now?" I asked. "I don't know." She didn't sound as frightened as I. I did some quick thinking. Something had to be done fast. This was a critical turning point in my life. It was tantamount to a disaster. Abortion? I thought. I didn't know how abortions were administered, but I knew they were as dangerous as snake's venom. That was out. "I will marry you" talk was out of the question. That she knew as well as I did. There was only one way out. Get out of the place before her parents got to know what was going on. But I couldn't imagine life without Caroline around. Despite the complications of the situation, I had developed a strong love for her. She had given me a sense of pride. She had made me believe that I was a man. She had destroyed the powerful barrier between her and me. She had ignored her merit for my sake. While nobody else had ever cared about my future, she had cared. Oh God, why did we ever start this? "Caroline," I said, "if your parents come to know this, I will be in trouble. As I look at it, there is no way out except for me to get out of this place at the first available chance." "How dare you?" she protested. "Can you possibly walk out on me and leave me to face my parents alone?" "But what can I do?" I argued. "My presence will only make things worse. Your father will not let me get away with it. He might even have me jailed." She was silent because she saw the sense in my appeals. She seemed to think parallel to me, but she was still impulsive. At that moment, I had a mind to suggesting abortion, but I decided to wait for her to take the initiative. If she suggested it, I thought, then I could investigate the possibilities of such a treatment. It was risky, but it was equally dangerous for her to remain pregnant. "All right," she said at last. "It will be some time before they notice it. We'll keep it a secret until it is no longer possible to hide. Meanwhile, promise me that you won't go." There was nothing I would have loved better than to stay, but there was nothing I dreaded more than facing Kahuthu to explain why Caroline was pregnant. Now I was sure that she didn't consider abortion as a remedy. I thought for a while. It was no use arguing with her. It would be an endless argument with no solution. "I promise I'll stay," I said. She embraced me passionately. It hurt me to imagine that she was not made for me. The chances were 100-0 that she was embracing me for maybe the last time. I had already made up my mind to resign the next day. She would be in school when I tendered my resignation. What a surprise she was going to have when she came back from school to find me gone. And me, somewhere in the remote reserves, I would be lamenting for her. Somehow, I said to myself silently, I'll meet her again under favorable conditions. But I didn't convince myself. The next day, I woke up earlier than usual. Actually, I didn't wake up, but rose from the bed. I hadn't slept a wink. My eyes were sore after staring into the darkness all night. Caroline, as usual, had left shortly before dawn. At 7:30, the usual government vehicle with a uniformed chauffeur came to collect Caroline. I watched through the window as she sauntered towards the car. In her school uniform, a gray skirt and white blouse, she looked so innocent and delicate that I felt a spasm of guilt at imagining what was coming to her. She entered the car and looked towards my direction, as if she was aware that I was watching her. My heart gave a lurch when the car pulled out and removed Caroline from the vicinity. "Till we meet?" I murmured to myself. A hot teardrop flowed down my cheek. As Kahuthu never reported on duty earlier than 8 o'clock, I found him having breakfast. He gave me the usual casual look, half hostile and half godly. "Sir, I am resigning," I said politely. He gaped at me. A ham sandwich in his hand remained suspended in mid-motion. "What was that again?" he asked. "I am going home, sir." He looked at me as if it was the first time he had ever seen me. Then he resumed munching his ham. "What is so wonderful about home?" he asked at last. "I want to do some farming." Again, he gave me a hard stare. He was wondering how a cheap creature like me could own a farm which produced more than the salary of a houseboy. People of my class were not supposed to own farms. "Why come to me?" he snarled. "Don't you know the right person to see?" This came as a complete surprise. I had expected him to haggle with me and probably persuade me to stay on. After 6 years of perfect service, I thought I deserved some credit. These rich assholes, I thought furiously. They never give a damn about what a poor man has done for them. Instead, they expect the poor man to worship them even when it is their turn to command. I was abashed. "I thought I should bid you farewell," I said, hiding my disappointment. He nodded reluctantly. "Go well," he said in a note of dismissal. As far as he was concerned, I no longer existed in that room. To him, parting with me was like parting with diarrhea. As I walked out of the room, I felt dishonored, humiliated, unwanted, and valueless. I instantly developed a strong hatred of rich men.
Wow.